He's hella depressed. I'm dead. What the? Bro, what the fuck? If you take one thing away from this video, please take this away. By running away and by avoiding micro, mini, small, uncomfortable conversations, over time, you're going to end up in the biggest tragedy, the biggest discomfort, the most uncomfortable situation of divorce. And divorce is traumatic and hurtful for every single person involved, even if it's a cordial, peaceful separation and divorce process. Full stop. So please communicate. Hello friends, my name is Benoit Kim, a UPenn educated psychotherapist and everyone's favorite yapper. Welcome to my detailed psychological analysis of the Apothecary Diaries episode 12. Athatanation Zero, Vinny, Greg Boge, Foxglow's Gaming, Crisco94, Jen Negre, Wei Xiang, and Project Norway are the sponsor tier highlights of today's video. I appreciate your support. Shout out to the best patron family and growing YouTube members. Sit back and I hope you enjoy.
フォンミンの処刑後、フォンミンの親族は財産を奪われ、
Wow.
その違いはあるが、すべて肉刑に処された。犯行はフォンミンの一存によるものとされ、主であるアードー妃に沙汰がなかった。そして今、フォンミンの実家およびその関係者の名簿がここにある。
名簿には商いの取引先も含め、
Wow.
養蜂以外にも手広くやっていたようで。
Oh, 80 children.
2000人中80人か。なかなかの的中率だな。
So, Jingxi is right. So, according to the traditions and historical reportings and I guess archives based on ancient Chinese dynasty era, anytime someone is executed for a crime, in this case, I guess betrayal and attempted assassination, sure, with Mao Mao's help, Feng Ming's intention and plan was successful. Remember, Mao Mao, with her best intention, wanted to combine two crimes into one so that concubine Ado was not blamed, and that was successful. However, another detriment and tragedy is that it's not just Feng Ming, it's her entire family. But in this case, even those who are affiliated and associated with Feng Ming's family, with their businesses, could also get punished for corporal punishment, it sounds like. And some of the most severe crime and punishment back in the Chinese dynasty eras was treason. Of course, here, Feng Ming did not commit any treason, thankfully. But just some historical history lessons. If you are caught committing treason, it's not just your immediate family, not just 80 children, not just your grandchildren and cousins. Well, in Chinese, it's called 朝九族. Chao means killing, Jiu means 9, Zu means like lineage. So your 9 generations of lineages get wiped out, eradicated. Your entire lineage is eradicated, including your 12th cousins. That is the most severe punishment by death if you are to commit treason. So this is to a lesser degree, but nonetheless, Master Jinxi is stressed out and thinking about what do they do with these 80 children out of the 2,000 in the royal palace, which is a massive head ratio. Plus all the affiliates and the people who are associated with Feng Ming's family.
薬屋がさらわれて売り飛ばされた先は九段の関係者だったらしい。
お望みであれば隠蔽しますが。
Master Jingxi is still thinking about Mao Mao and her kidnappers in the midst of the stressful dilemma and situations. And again, this is another foreshadowing and hint dropping by the show that Master Jingxi is much more than just a manager of the royal palace. I already predicted it and suspected as such in the earlier episodes, just from the fact that Master Jingxi is responsible to review and pass bills submitted by the different bureaucrats. So Master Jingxi is extremely high up, and I also predicted, based on the foreshadowing, that Master Jingxi is the son of concubine Ado. Based on their similarities and familiarities in their hair color. Also, Mao Mao also helped analyze that as well. So from that lines of logic and sequence of logic, it appears so that Master Jingxi is the secret, hidden, swapped prince of the emperor. I don't know if emperor knows that fact, but regardless, it is very clear that Master Jinshi is much, much more than just a manager of the royal palace. Another case in point, another evidence. Here, why is Master Jinshi the one that is considering the corporal punishment of those 80 children and all those affiliates? Sure, you can argue that, oh, it's because he is the manager. He is a top dog of the royal palace, and those 80 children are in the royal palace. Sure. What about all those affiliates? What about all those other people who are associated through business transactions? Those business people and those affiliates, they're not in the royal palace, yet those names are submitted and are on the desk of Master Jinshi for him to review. See? Master Jinshi's authority and power transcends and is outside of just the royal palace. Again, I don't know if the emperor is aware that Master Jinshi is like the secret prince of his child after that child swapping by a concubine Ado, based on Mao Mao's conjecture. Although she's like, that's just a delusion. I don't think so. Just from the hair color, similarities, Master Jinshi crying after hugging Mao Mao in episode 11 and so on, right? But anyway, I'm going to stop my yapping here. But again, my conclusion is Master Jinshi is a lot higher than just whatever position he's at. A lot, much, much higher. And some people commented in my Patreon for the unedited early access videos. And this is going back to a lot of people's headcanoning, and I think the projection of Mao Mao's autism. I already said about my conclusions, so I'm not going to repeat that. But one thing I will say, based on people commented in my Patreon videos, which I also agree, is I think it's also Mao Mao's unawareness or lack of awareness, and why she lacks certain social cues is specifically related to the hierarchy. More specifically, it's the power hierarchy and the differentials between nobles and commoners, like what Master Jinshi is talking about here. And because of that tremendous gap of power, hierarchical differences, Mao Mao can never fathom and even conceptualize the possibilities that a noble and a person in that high position like Master Jinshi could ever fall in love or even likes Mao Mao. That's why she's never even entertained such possibilities. It's very, very logical, and I agree with that prediction, or I guess conclusion. But again, what I didn't finish earlier is, despite this dilemma and this stressful situations, Master Jinshi is still thinking about Mao Mao and her kidnappers. See, Master Jinshi's only his affinity and his affection and his, I don't know, love is a strong word, but yeah, his affinity for, his affection and affinity for Mao Mao is only growing. I think especially after the previous episode, in episode, I think 9 or 10, where Mao Mao had that extremely honest, but also almost brutally honest conversation with Master Jinshi about, hey, if you were to order me to death, can you pick poison? Again, because of the power hierarchical difference. I think Master Jinshi's liking and fell for Mao Mao even more so, because Mao Mao is radically honest, forthcoming, and there's no one else like that in Master Jinshi's life. In the midst of this extremely serious, sombering, stressful situation to determine the fates of those 80 children of Feng Ming's family in the royal palace and all those affiliates, Master Jinshi is thinking about, I guess in theory, with my power, I can force Mao Mao to stay in royal palace even after the 3-year slavery contract, because she was sold to the royal palace from those kidnappers. Because obviously, Master Jinshi really likes Mao Mao. But it's not just a personal thing. It's because Master Jinshi appreciates and recognizes Mao Mao's tremendous talents, and that her talent, her competency, is needed and demanded in the royal palace, just like Mao Mao's father, right? Who was previously a palace physician. So, but then again, think about how uncommon this scenario is. Person in this power position, such as Master Jinshi, is actually so thoughtful and considering for and about Mao Mao's own feelings, own thought process. How will she feel? Sure, she will reluctantly agree and be forced to stay in the royal palace because she's a commoner and I am a noble. And she understands the power differentials brutally well. But how will she feel about being forced to stay here? Because she was sold here by kidnappers, which is another trauma, right? And I think this is another indication that Master Jinshi is extremely empathetic. He's not a typical representation of someone who resides in such a high power position based on the traditional historical backgrounds. And that begs the question. I know a lot of commenters or a lot of viewers commented that the writers of Apothecary Diaries initially didn't like the character Master Jinshi, but because of the petition and the fandom, she was forced to keep him in and I guess portray him as such. Why didn't the writer like Master Jinshi as a character? He is compassionate, he's brilliant, he's very sharp, he is funny. Sure, he has his fake side because everyone has their own survival needs and everyone put up a mask. So that's not a unique demonization against Master Jinshi by any means. But I'm just curious why writer was against the character Master Jinshi, and was he written very differently in the light novels compared to the anime? But he's a really, really great guy. I ship Mao Mao and Master Jinshi 100%. I think they're a great match.
二人の間の亀裂がこれ以上開くのがとても恐ろしい。
Oh, dude, he is in too deep. Point of no return.
貴様
He brought him back.
ここまではなかったのですか
Oh, wow. So Guaosho, because he raised Master Jinshi, and I think the fact that he also, I mean, again, I don't know if the emperor knows Master Jinshi is his own son that got swiped by concubine Ado, but the fact that Guaosho raised Master Jinshi means Guaosho is also in a high position. And remember in the scene from Garden Party, Mao Mao also recognized and took note that Guaosho is in a pretty higher than what she expected among those officers with the lineups, because different hierarchy and different people lined up accordingly. Like if you're lined up closest to the emperor, that means you're higher position. And if you're lined up further from the emperor, whether it's garden party or some sort of event, that's like the closeness to emperor represents the higher power hierarchy. And if you're further from the distance of the emperor, that means you're lower rank. That's usually how it's done. Not just in Chinese dynasty, but it's also in like Korean dynasty era in the past. But anyway, so Guaosho knows Master Jinshi really, really well. And that's why he brought him back. And I think he knew Master Jinshi was no longer lost in his thoughts and dilemma and stress about Feng Ming's family members, those 80 children. But it's more about Mao Mao. Because remember, the only time Master Jinshi is not like himself, according to Guaosho, is pertaining to Mao Mao. And he was indeed correct.
大量解雇そうだよ例のお家と取引のあった
So episode 12 is called Eunuch, and the courtesan is... Oh, also, so in the Chinese, because obviously this is written in Chinese, I'll pronounce it for you guys, anyone that's learning Mandarin Chinese. 第12话光公和妓女光公和妓女光公 is the eunuch, and 妓女 is a courtesan, and 妓女 is like a lady of arts. 妓 is like entertainment, which is courtesan. So I'm guessing this episode is about Master Jinshi because he is a eunuch, and Mao Mao, who technically could have been a courtesan because she was raised in the brothel. But we're back to this endearing and blossoming friendship and wholesome dynamic between Mao Mao and Xiaolan, Mao Mao's best friends, and vice versa.
娘は全員辞めなくちゃなんないんだってこれが結構な人数になるみたいなんだ
Oh, Feng Ming's okay.
急に辞めることになって困ってる子周りにいるよきっといろんなところと取引してたんだね
Wow.
なんだか嫌な予
感がする今解雇とかかなり困るんだが時期が悪いイラクの後まだ
り手ババアのところに乗客を送るただいま確実に売り飛ばされる
Again, this is another comical portrayal of Mao Mao's complete oblivion. She's so oblivious how special she is, her unique disposition in Master Jinshi's heart. That's why she's like, oh my gosh, I have a bad feeling. This would be a horrific time to be laid off. Then she might get sold off by her grannies. Again, that's another oblivion because Granny loves her and she will never sell Mao Mao to the customers in the brothel against her will. Just because the grannies upper punched Mao Mao for the homecoming episode, that doesn't mean she doesn't love her. We know that, but again, Mao Mao is oblivious and she lacks certain social cues. I think whenever there's pertaining to like again, power differentials. Because Granny, she has more power than Mao Mao. She owns that elite brothel. She is an elder and so on. And because of the social hierarchy, I think it's harder for Mao Mao to gauge and understands and appreciates the love and compassion Granny has for Mao Mao. That's why she was surprised when one of the princes in that hot bath scene that is like, what? Granny thought about me? So I think she lacks certain social cues specifically to the social context when there's a hierarchical difference. And I think that's another reflection and a symptom of her trauma because she is born of a commoner background. She grew up in the red light / entertainment district and numerous violence, trauma, attachment issues, and so on. But that's why she ran away. I think I'm sure she's trying to go talk to Master Jinshi to ensure that she doesn't get laid off. But again, Mao Mao, you have nothing to worry about. Wow, I've never seen her in such a frenzy before.
フォミンの実家が養蜂農家なら何らかの接点が
Connection to what? And I think while she's in this full frenzy, this is the most panicked and not uncomposed. Is uncomposed a word? Uncomposed? The most lack of composure I've ever seen Mao Mao in the last 12 episodes, period. I think this is another indication and portrayal of Mao Mao's trauma, that how much she despises and is terrified of being sold off in the brothel. Although that's her imagination and it will never happen in reality based on my analysis. I think it's because another portrayal of so much brutality, maybe rape, sexual trauma, horrible things she's witnessed. Not necessarily gone through, but witnessed through vicarious trauma. Definition right here. Vicarious trauma is a concept that many first responders and survivors of trauma witnessed. Right? Just because you didn't go through that traumatic experience yourself, that doesn't mean you're immune or you're escaped from that. If you see a dead person on the road with a car accident, or as a paramedic, EMT, nurse, doctors, even psychotherapists, when we are exposed and witness so much horrible trauma and horrible tragedies, we take on that trauma, that pieces of trauma, and that's vicarious trauma. Experiencing trauma through vicarious. Vicarious means exposure. So it's like trauma through exposure. And I think Mao Mao also has tremendous vicarious trauma just by simply being raised and growing up in a brothel, by seeing so many courtesans going through, I'm sure, unconsensual sex, I'm sure even rape in a lot of senses. Like in the alleyways when those men who leave brothels sexually unsatisfied based on Mao Mao. And I think because of that, Mao Mao is truly petrified and terrified and extremely fearful of being sold off to a brothel based on her imagination, based on her lack of, again, recognitions of how much the granny loves her. So I think that's why this is another reason why we're seeing Mao Mao for the first time in such a full frenzy. She's still just a young adult, a teenager at the end of the day, no matter how competent Mao Mao is. Oh, there he is. Oh, he must be far. Oh, no, here. He heard her. That's freaking cardio for the day. That's what I said.
落ち着け、顔が真っ赤だぞ。
お話が あります。
Even here, Master Jinshi sounds more sincere. And again, his tonation, his tonality sounds lower than usual because he's usually higher pitch. I think it's because anytime Master Jinshi is in a more somber sound and states, is because I'm sure he also feels bad for doing that mass layoff. And again, executing the order of cleaning up and sorting out those people affiliated with Feng Ming's family and businesses. That's why I'm sure he's also in a lower state. In addition to his own dilemma about what to do with Mama's future, should I keep her or should I respect her will?
分かった
Even the music's
後で
different.
話そう
See, his voice is extremely lower.
大量解雇のことだな
はい。私はどうなるのでしょうか。
名簿だ
つまり解雇というわけですね。
どうしたい
Oh, so Mama was affiliated with Feng Ming's business? Huh? Or did Oh, I just had a light bulb moment. I think Master Jinshi was super stressed about that. Not necessarily because Mama was affiliated with Feng Ming, maybe because two possibilities. One is because Master Jinshi is extremely sharp and smart. He's not a dumb dude. So he knows Mama did something in advocacy of Feng Ming. He knows that. That's one possibility. So because of the association and direct, I guess, accomplice nature, he's letting her go because he has to fulfill the order and the duties by the emperor. Because again, he's the emperor. Emperor is like the skies and the heavens, right? Second possibility is through this opportunity, because there's already a mass layoff, Master Jinshi is being so thoughtful and considerate for Mao Mao by letting her go, because he knows that she was sold here against her will through slavery by the kidnappers. And as Master Jinshi said in his monologue, the kidnappers' family that sold Mao Mao off was associated with Feng Ming's family. So through the association, I think Master Jinshi is able to justify letting her go. So it's like two birds, one stone, right? Mao Mao gets reunify with her dad, and she gets to end her contracts, this slavery contract through kidnapping early on. And Master Jinshi also gets to fulfill the duty, committed by the emperor himself. So it's almost like three birds, one stone. But again, I think that's why Master Jinshi sounds super low, not just because of the mass layoff, but also he is grieving for the potential departure of Mao Mao. But I guess we'll see what Mao Mao say here. Music is very somber, very sincere.
都合の良い駒ではなかったのですか
Convenient pawn of what?
玉葉様の次女になってから毒味もできるし、医局にも出入りで。
それなりに今の生活を
Oh, yeah, she likes it.
私はただの女官
解雇しないでくださいなんて言える立場ではない。
See? Power differential.
こびる目をしないようにしなければ。私はただの女官です。
In that very brief monologue alone, that's the most emotions I've seen Mao Mao. We saw the camera zooming into Mao Mao's eyes. We saw that little sweat drop or teardrop that she really wants to beg. She really enjoys her current lifestyle and she really wants to stay. But because she's a commoner, I don't know why I did that. I guess she is a commoner. And Master Jinshi is such a higher up noble. It's not her place to beg, plead, or make any request. Again, the power differential and the difference in hierarchy is so deep seated. It's been ingrained and conditioned into Mao Mao's deepest of her fiber of her being. And it's not just Mao Mao. That power differential in Mao Mao's mind is a symptom. It's a reflection of the entire dynasty era, that era of the time. So in that case, Master Jinshi is the unique, uncommon one for him to have so much empathy for the commoners. So Master Jinshi is a unique case. He's an outlier. But according to the paradigm, the era of the time, every commoners have the exact same conditioning. We call that behaviorism, right? When our behaviors are been conditioned through societal norms, through positive reinforcements, negative reinforcements, and so on. So that's like the conditioning that's so deep-seated in Mao Mao. That's why she was talking to herself in her mind that make sure I'm not begging because it's not my place. It's entirely up to Master Jinshi. But let me share my thoughts in a more neutral way. But that's the most emotions I've seen Mao Mao in that very brief monologue.
下働きでもまかないでも毒味役でも命じられればやります。
命じられれば
See?
そうだ。
命令されればできるだけやり遂げる。
It's all about power differentials.
重なっても文句は言わない。
吹り飛ばされるまでの時間が稼げればなんとかする。だからクビにしないでくれ。
Oh.
分かった。
Hmm?
それでは
金は弾もう。
She's laid off.
交渉失敗。解雇。
Wait, really? Interesting. Also, again, I already analyzed and commented it, but why is Mama so certain that the granny is going to sell her off? Because of the debt she incurred from her homecoming episode? And yes, I talked about in that episode that we have to separate business and family 100%. Or is that another very realistic portrayal that Mama, at the end of the day, she is a human. She's not an AI. She's not a ChatGPT. She has her own blind sides. She has her own flaws. And her perception is also quite flawed based on my ongoing discussions about reality versus perceptions, how our perceptions are often distorted based on our upbringing, our feelings, our fear, and so on. So I guess, yes, I get it. I just answered my own question, but still curious. Like, she's so certain that she's going to get sold off to the brothel.
いつまでそうしている
Master Jisoo is so sad.
何も言うな。
She's literally bubbling. He's bubbling.
王は花町へ帰っていった。礼儀正しく
Aww.
回っ
She's so nice.
後悔しても知らないわよ。
And Gao Shan is also mistaken because Mao Mao is not just a favorite toy. And I think he's saying that because Gao Shan is the one that raised Master Jinshi since he was a child, based on this flashback. So, but I don't think Gao Shan truly recognizes the depth, how much Master Jinshi truly likes and has affection for Mao Mao.
いや、あの娘を
Ah, bingo. I said it. Called it. That's exactly what I said.
全くもって手間のかかる役
Gao Shan's smart too. Hella smart.
あの部下
Yo, Master Jinshi is sulking and brewing so much that corner is literally fermented. The mushrooms are growing. I am dead. Brilliant portrayal. He's hella depressed. I'm dead. Ah, it's like a heartbreak before a relationship.
そばかすはない方がいいわね。口紅は私がお貸してあげる。
Wait, what?
マオマオと一緒に宴に行く日が来るとはな。今宵の仕事は議廊の外で行われる鬼人の宴。
So Mao is right. Okay, so I guess, yes, Granny does obviously care and love Mao, but again, I guess business is separated from family. And when you owe debt, you do have to pay your debt, right? That's common business sense. And I guess that military officer spending 3 whole days with one of the 3 princesses who really liked his biceps. Mao did incur a lot of debt from that. So I guess she has a debt to pay. And I think I think this also speaks to her, I guess, morality and her righteousness, because she's not the type of person that will run away and flight from her responsibilities. In this case, paying back her debt. Especially the granny did her a huge favor by entertaining the military officer so that Mao could enjoy 3 days of very peaceful, tranquil homecoming.
部にはそれだけお金がかかる。その上、一晩の尺で一般の給金1年分の銀が消える。
消える。
Wow.
他の三姫を
All 3. Damn.
金とはあるとこ。
Damn.
一緒に行くって言っても、私の役目は姉ちゃんたちの引き
引き立て役だよ。はい、マウマウ。高級を出るとき思ったより金を弾んでもらえたから、とりあえず売り飛ばされずに済んでいる。
Nice.
引き立て役も大事な仕事だ。
よろしくね、ママ。
What's the important job? The granny. Huh?
すぐに客を取ってくれてもいいんだよ。やり手ババアはどうしても私を妓女にしたいらしい。
See, even that the old granny really wants me to become a courtesan, but at the end of the day, because granny loves Mao Mao, she still respects her wishes. She's not forcing and forcibly selling Mao Mao off because granny has a right based on the debt, right? So again, another indication that granny does care about Mao Mao, but at the end of the day, they are the products. They are the byproducts and the symptom of this tragedy of the deep poverty, social caste, social hierarchy based on the era of the time. So again, when you're a servant, when you're a commoner, when you have incurred so much debt, you have to repay your debt. Otherwise, it is a crime.
シートも銀ぜず2個も引けない。
舞踏なんて持ってない。薬以外には興味もない薬屋の娘なのに。
True.
どうにもここ数年その動きが顕著だ。目のくらむような調度品ばかり。
Wow.
一つくらい土産にもらってもバレない。あ、いいかいか。
こちらのお部屋でございます。
I like how literally just said Mao Mao has high moral values and she is a righteous person and she thinks about stealing. But again, that's not an indication of her morals. It's more an indication of her desperations out of survival needs. Again, another trauma and how terrified she is to be sold off as a courtesan, to succumb to sex work against her wishes to pay off her debt. The three princesses, huh?
李白様の紹介の宮廷交換だと聞いたが、
Mm.
思ったより年若いな。
Okay, so they're not as gross.
さあ、行きましょう。さて、閉めて閉めて。
She's like pretending to smile. Oh, wow. Whoa. So this is a non-sexual transaction. It's purely to appreciate the three princesses, their arts and performance.
仕事とはいえ、ずっと笑ってるのは疲れるな。おや、
Oh,
つまらないのか？
that's Master Jinshi.
失礼します。
一人にしてくれ。一人になりたいんだ。
He doesn't know.
どこかで聞いたこと
Oh,
が
it's
ある
dark.
ような。
Bro, I called it. Episode 12, Eunuch and Courtesan. Boom. Faithful encounter. So again, this speaks to my prediction and my analysis that Master Jinshi is so much higher than just a eunuch and the manager of the real palace. These are extremely high-ranking military officers, and they're extremely wealthy. So wealthy that the other Li Haku couldn't even afford. But they're hiring three princesses just for a night of performance, right? And Master Jinshi's here. That means he's among the elites. He's among the elites of the royal palace or the palace in itself. So again, I don't know if the emperor knows that he is his secret son, but regardless, he has ascended to the extremely high ranking. So maybe Jinshi is like what I said earlier, double meaning. Jingshi is the people who tested number 1 or number 2 in the nation. Their scholarly test, usually number 1. And then they ascend to the extremely high ranking officer through the scholarly test. Because in the Chinese dynasty eras, Japanese dynasty eras, and Korean dynasty eras, scholar, education is like the pinnacle, period. Even now, education's liberation is something I deeply, deeply believe in. So that's why Master Jinshi is here. But he's like, leave me alone. Because obviously he's been depressed, he's been sulking, and who knows how many weeks have gone by since he ordered to lay off Mao Mao for her sake, because he truly is thoughtful and he wanted Mao Mao to end her slavery contract because she was sold off by the kidnappers against her wishes. A faithful encounter.
ジンシ様、
なぜ避ける？
妓女には触れないでください。
お前、け
よく言われます。そもそもなんでそんな格好？アルバイト中です。
議論でか？
そうです。
もしかしてお前。
このお方はどうにも人の低層を疑っているし。
別に個人で客を取ったりしてませんよ。
What a huge...
まだ。なら、俺が勝 ってやろうか。
冗談
It's not a joke. Damn, how much money does he
いい
have?
かもしれませんね。もう一度高級に勤めるのも。
あそこが嫌でやめたんじゃなかったのか。
はあ、そんなこといつ言いました？続けたいと打診し
したたのに解雇したのはそちらでしょう。確かに面倒事は多かったですが、毒味役など
なろうと思ってなれるものいただけないのは
毒実験ができないことくらいでした。
And again, Master Jinshi didn't know Mao Mao's true intention of wanting to stay because Mao Mao never said it explicitly. And this is a very common thing about miscommunication or lack of communication. Even for a lot of partners, boyfriend, girlfriends, wives, husbands, spouses, right? Romantic partners, anything in between. So many times, so many of us were like, why do I have to speak and tell you what I want and what I need? You should know automatically. The fuck? What do you mean I should know? What do you mean you should know? What does that even mean? We're not mind readers. We don't have superpower. The only way for us to know doesn't matter how many years we've been together. Doesn't matter how much we love each other. Doesn't matter how deep our bond is. We humans are not mind readers. We do not read minds. Full stop. But that is the root and the cause of so many conflicts, so many arguments, so many issues. Why do I have to tell you what I want? You should know it automatically. Guys, this is not Amazon one day, same day delivery services. We're not Amazon. We need to express our needs and wants. We need to learn to communicate. All right? If you look at the top 3 reasons for divorce, and in the United States, as of now, according to the I think 2018 or 2016 census data, 58% of married couples end up in divorces. 58%. And if you've been divorced twice or more, that goes up to 73%. Because once you divorce once with monogamy, you're like, oh, I have a way out. I have an exit plan. So they divorce again and again and again. So one time is 58%, which is majority. And second time or more is 73%. And hear me loud and clear. Every single married couple, when they first pledged and when they first got married, not a single one of them thought they were going to be divorced. Not a single one of them thought they're going to end up in a divorce situation. Every single one of them thought, not me, not us. We are not going to be a statistic. However, at the end of the day, 58% of married couples end up in divorces. Number 1 reason is finance, financial conflicts. Number 2 reason is infidelity. Number 3 reason is, you guessed it, communication issues. Once we miscommunicate once and we avoid to have that conversation because of the discomfort and being uncomfortable, we compound and we prolong the avoidance and we keep avoiding and running away from, yes, uncomfortable, but necessary and important discussions to clear the air. And then we start having all these conspiracies. Oh, they're conspiring against me. Oh, they must not love me anymore. They don't know me anymore. They changed, etc., etc. So let me compact my yapping here. But I'm very, very committed and passionate about marriage, but also healthy long-term relationships. Because I think psychology is not an individual thing. Psychology never happens in silo. Psychology is only relevant in a relationship container. What's the point of learning about our psychology when we're just alone, ourselves? We learn about ourselves, self-discovery, our psychological understanding, so that we can show up better in a relationship container. You guys with me? Anyway, to wrap it up, my point is this. Please, if you take one thing away from this video, please take this away. By running away and by avoiding micro, mini, small, uncomfortable conversations, over time, you're going to end up in the biggest tragedy, the biggest discomfort, the most uncomfortable situation of divorce. And divorce is traumatic and hurtful for every single person involved, even if it's a cordial, peaceful separation and divorce process. Full stop. So please communicate. Otherwise, it's going to happen right here. Mama wanted to convey that she wanted to stay. but she never said it explicitly because of the power differential. And Master Jinshi didn't know because Mama never said it. Again, I'm not blaming any of them, but get it? You guys understand the detriments and perils of lack of communication and miscommunication?
毒実験はさすがにやめろ。
今日はまた一段と子供みたいな顔をする。
He's relieved to see her.
お前そういうやつだよな。
何ですか？
言葉が足りないって言われないか？
よく言われる。
Exactly what I said. Exactly what I... See? He's so much happier now.
だからなんで逃げる？
規則ですから。
少しくらいいいだろ？
ダメです。
減るもんじゃないだろ。
気力が減ります。
片手だけ、指先だけだ。
そういえばこの男だったな。
Aww.
指先だけですよ。
What the? Bro, what the fuck? What the? Yo! Yo! Master Jinshi, you Yo, that was... I don't want to say that was hentai desu. That wasn't perversive, but... he literally stuck his fingers to her lips. Again, a minor. And he touched his own lips. Like a vicarious or proxy kiss. They're all watching.
もう何？
Huh?
ただとにかく姉ちゃんたちの追求がしつこかった。
Wow, that was unexpected.
念のため作っておくか。
Wait, she back?
そばかすを書かないとろくなことにならない。
She's back.
あれは去年の冬か。
Did Master Jinshi buy her out?
さらわれたのも驚きだが、よりによって売られた先が高級とは。しかも出世して次女にまでな。
So it's been a full year.
年季が終わるまでおとなしくしてようと思ってたのに。マオマオ。
Oh, no. Okay. So
これ。
she wasn't bought out yet.
わかった。
Master Jinshi again? Oh, no. Uh-oh, she's dead. Oh, no. Someone died? Oh, that's rough.
高級か。生涯関わりたくない場所だったんだよな。元気かな、みんな。
Aw. So some people might be like, why is Mama contradicting herself? She's like, I wanted to avoid the real palace at all costs, but I miss working there. I wonder how everyone's doing. Right? She's not contradicting herself. This is the complexities of life, right? We could say this is a dissonance that she has, definition right here. Cognitive dissonance. Dissonance is the distance that we hold when we're upholding two seemingly conflicting ideas, or when our thoughts and beliefs contradict or go against our actions, and vice versa. That's the cognitive dissonance. And everyone has cognitive dissonances, just like cognitive biases, period. But here, she's not contradicting herself. One, it could be a reflection and depiction of her dissonance, like I talked about. Or two, it's just simply just a cost and benefit analysis, right? Whether it's our job, our workplace, our relationships, the city we live in, the schools, anything in between. Nothing is ever perfect. Perfection is a lie. It's an idealized illusion. So what does that mean? Every single one of us has to conduct cost and benefit analysis, or pros and cons. Whatever we do, whether we're staying at our job, going to the school, or transferring, deciding what major to study in, right? Whatever it is, we have to decide at the end of the day, are there more pros than cons? Do the pros outweigh the cons? In other words, it's not that there's no cons. It's not that there's no hidden cost. It's not that everything's perfect, but rather, are we willing to bear through the worst aspects of the job or the thing or the situation because there are more benefits to staying in that scenario and situation? So that's what Mama's depicting here. That sure, she didn't want to get sold off to the real palace. She didn't want to get kidnapped. There's a lot of trouble, politics, and a lot of situations. She might lose her life at any time because she's a commoner. But at the end of the day, according to Mamao's cost and benefit analysis, there were more pros. That's why overall, she preferred to stay. You guys with me? Granny.
今出るから。
ゆっくりしてきな。たまにしか入れないんだ。
Aw. See? She cares about her a lot. Damn, that Granny's jacked. Look at those traps.
借金ならちゃんと返す。
No wonder that upper punch, huh?
戻るのかい呼吸に。
Oh, Granny knows she enjoyed it overall.
でも高級の花町も大して変わらないのかも。
Except she gets to taste poison.
眠れないのか
Oh, his voice is so calming.
風に当たってくる。
気をつけるんだよ
He's so calm. Is he a Buddhist? He should be a monk, dude. So calm. Oh, of course it's snowing. So as many of you guys know, in archetypical storytelling techniques, animes or shows or movies, weathers is usually like external conditions, right? Weathers is usually a portrayal and projection of our internal mindset, internal condition. So the fact that it's snowing, I think represents Mao Mao's in her deep contemplation. She's being introspective, she's thinking, right? Because winter is like the calm before the storm, and after the winter comes what? Comes spring. Life renews again. Life is growing, blossoming. So I think this is like the calm, the pause, the halt before the spring, before something happens again. She's probably going to go back to her palace. And Master Jinshi's going to hook her up, obviously. Aw, very pretty. Oof. Deep. So it's a flashback of all the experiences she's gone through in the last 1 year in the Royal Palace. Damn! That slap that rang through the universe. Another reason why she said brothel and the Royal Palace is no different, aside from the obvious garden and the cage, is because she has banned and she was surrounded by people who loved her, who respected her, who cared for her. Whether in the brothel by all those princesses and all the big sisters, or in the Royal Palace, right? So she's although she grew up without a mother, and although we never learns her full upbringing and her own full family dynamic and context yet, one thing we do know, and I talked about before, is that she has been surrounded by plenty of maternal love and compassionate people. Full stop. Wow, this song is great. Sorry for muting for copyright. That flashback humanizes everyone. We're all humans, trying our best at the end of the day. She's drinking. I'm dead. I guess alcohol also keeps her warm. And she's feeling low. Whoa, look at those eyes.
これから。
What's going to happen? You tell me, Mama. You're in control. After a brief moment of sincerity, she's back to her, I guess, casual self.
都の花町に美しい貴人が現れる。
A beautiful noble. Oh! He's buying her out.
やり手ババアも目がくらむ金ス
Whoa, what is that? Whoa. Master Jinshi again understands human nature. He knows that nothing appetizes and appeases Mama more than strange drug, poison, medicine, in this case, strange medicine grew out of insects, and nothing appeases the granny more than gold, money. So again, two birds, one stone. And I think through that honest conversation they had through that one night performance, I think Master Jinshi finally understood, because Mao Mao finally revealed her true intention that she wanted to stay. Because again, I guess in that sense, Master Jinshi was a customer and Mao Mao was a courtesan. Sure, there's still that social hierarchy, but it was not as steep as like a nobleman and a servant in the real palace setting.
の娘を所望し
It's literally glowing. I think she at the end she paused because she's like, huh? Because she's like, oh wait, I think this means I'm going back to real palace. Mama, your prayer and your dilemma has presented its own solutions. Anyway, amazing show. I love this show and the Bochi the Rock, the two series I'm covering right now. And enough said. if you guys enjoy my psychological analysis and in-depth cultural commentary, and I guess murder mystery detective deductions and analysis and predictions, smash that thumbs up. Double check, are you subscribed? Because if you're not, you will miss out on my next video, my next episode, and the next series. And as always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Seriously, it means the world. Shout out to the best patron family. You guys are very generous, and also the growing YouTube members as well. As always, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, peace.